What's up, everybody? As you can see, we have this nice Honda Accord Sport, I should add. Got the 2.4. It's got a valve cover gasket leak, as you can see. But along with the valve cover gasket, we're going to do spark plugs, valve adjustment, and oil change. There will be another video on the front brakes of this car, but that's a different video. But I want to show y'all how to reset the oil light as well on this. So let me gather up all my tools and get situated, and then I'll be right back to show y'all how to do all this. Now I have some tools set up. What we're going to do is start taking some of this stuff off right here. This little cover right here just pulls up, has some little rubber grommets on there. As you can see, that one right there come out. Now what we're going to do is start taking some of these off so we can get to everything. We're going to have some hoses right here. You're going to have your electrical rail right there. And then underneath here is going to be your coils, and the wires are going to run underneath there as well. And pretty much everything on here will pretty much be like a 10 millimeter. And you may need a 10 millimeter deep or semi-deep to get this bolt right here where the grommet was on. First I'm going to take this hose off. It might be a little tight. There we go. Alright. A little tougher than it should have been, but we got it. Go ahead and start zipping off all these 10 millimeters on here. There'll be 5 on this cover. Then you have your coils right there. Be careful with these clips because they will break easy. Instead of using the little tabs, I like to get a pick under them and pull them out just so I don't break anything. I do the same thing with the Toyotas. They get real brittle real easy. There we go. That just gives me a little bit more room to move around. Alright, now I'm going to start taking off these valve cover bolts. You don't have to do this step, but I do it just to give me more room to move this harness out of the way. Just be careful where you set the alternator wire, because you actually can arc off and mess it up if you're not careful. There's also a hose back here. Before I take anything else out, I'm going to blow this off to get all the dirt off of it. Once those out, the coil should just come right up. Go ahead and take some of these bolts out just so I don't drop them. There's a connector right here. Oh, there's another wire holding it on. I did not see. It's on the very back. I'll show it to you once I get it out. Alright, so right there was the wire right there. But here's the valve cover. It should come with new seals right here as well, which these aren't bad, but right there is super brittle. Alright, now we're at the point where we can adjust the valves and take the spark plugs out. And what I'm going to do is actually find the spec for the valves real quick, and then I'll be right back. I did get the specs for the intake and the exhaust, and on the intake you want it to be 0.21 to 25 millimeters, and then on the exhaust you want it 0.25 to 29 millimeters, and this one right here is 0.254 millimeters, if I can talk, which is 10 thousandths of an inch. And all you're going to do is, I'm just going to do one of the exhausts real quick, see if I can find one that's loose. So this front one's loose right now, and you're just going to slide it between the lifter and the adjuster. That one feels good, and yeah, that one feels good too. But the way that you would adjust these if you needed to, I'll show it to you real quick. So you would loosen these nuts right here, and then you turn that. There's like a little flat blade area you can put a screwdriver in if you want to. They make a specific tool for this. I've always used just flat blade screwdriver and held it while I used a wrench on it. It works pretty much the same way. I'll try to find a link to one of the tools in there, but you don't have to use it if you don't want to. But it does make it a little easier. But like I say, you just loosen this nut right here, put the filler gauge in there, and adjust it down to where it just touches, where you can slide it in and out. Then you tighten the nut back down, and I think you tighten the nut on this to, it's not very much, I only think it's like 15 foot-pounds or something like that, 10 foot-pounds, somewhere on there. I'll find the exact spec for it and I'll put it up in the description below. But I'm not going to show me checking every one of these and adjusting every one of them, just because there's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, there's 16 of them, and there's no need to film 16 of them. So I'm just going to go through, check them, and adjust them as needed, and then once I get through with that, I'll show you me taking the last spark plug out, because I did take these 3 out already. I just have this last one, but you know what, I'll go ahead and take it out for you now, because these use a 9/16 plug, or maybe a 16 millimeter, be honest. But there's your plug right there. They don't look too bad, it's just time for it to be changed. But like I said, let me adjust these and then I'll be right back. Alright, we got the surface cleaned up already, and I'm going to put a little bit of silicone where the engine halves meet, and this one should have 4 areas, and then we're going to do a little bit in the corners as well. And what I'm using is Permatex Right Stuff. This stuff right here works extremely well. It's not as good as Honda Bond, but it works pretty good. And now we're going to just spread it out a little bit on each one of those areas, just to make sure it's got good contact. Right. This is the gasket set I went with. This is a Molly or Mall, however you want to say it. This is the part number VS50887. And the spark plug tube seals, they actually screw into. and I'll show it to you on the valve cover here in just a second. Let me open this up real quick. Alright, so the tube seals are held in with these 2 screws on each cylinder. They are a T20, and I'm just going to take one out at a time, and they do have washers underneath them, and the kit did come with them. The reason I went ahead and put the gasket sealer on the cylinder head is to let it set up just a second. So that right there is the washer, and like I said, it did come with new ones, and we're going to be replacing them. They can get stuck on the little Torx bolts pretty good. There's the new packet of them right there. Just try not to lose them. And that's what it looks like out of there. So we're just going to do each one of these real quick, and I'll put the gasket in here, and then we'll come back. I know y'all don't want to see me do every one of these. I just ran them down about hand tight real quick. So what I'm going to do now is actually torque them. Well, I really don't have a torque wrench that goes that low, but it only torques to 5 foot-pounds. And what we're going to do is, there's a sequence you do it in. You do this second one on the front, third one back here on the back, third one right here on the front, second one on the back, then fourth one on the front, first one on the back, then you jump over to this one right here, be the first one on the front, then the last one on the back, then you do this very front one right here, and then that back one. Like I said, they only torque to 5 foot-pounds, so it doesn't take a lot of pressure to do this. I will edit out all of this right here because I know y'all don't want to see me tighten down every bolt. Our next step is to go ahead and put the spark plugs in and put all the connectors back on, but I'm going to go ahead and do all of that off camera, change the oil, because if y'all are watching this, I'm pretty sure y'all know how to do an oil change, but I will show y'all how to reset the oil light on this after I do the oil change. So let me button this back up real quick, and then I'll be right back. So I use Wix oil filters, and for the Honda, this is the part number 57356. You can use the Wix XPs or whatever. I think MicroGuards are even the same number, 57356. But that is the part number that I used. It is a spin-on filter, and this does hold 5 quarts of oil, and it holds 0W20, I believe. Yep, it's right there on the cap. But I just wanted to give y'all the part numbers on that, and also I wanted to let y'all know that I already did the transmission fluid change. If you're doing this, make sure you use HCF-2 Honda fluid, and do not mix it with anything else because it will cause erratic shift patterns. If you're doing a drain and refill, this does call for 3.9 or 4 quarts of fluid. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. And the way you do it, you probably see the little bolt right there. It's just a 3/8 ratchet, goes in there, you pop it loose, drain it, and then 4 quarts later you put it back in, and you should be good to go. We're sitting in the car now, and I'm going to show you how to reset the oil life on this. And we did change out everything, put everything back where it was, got the oil filter and oil back in it, and I've already backed it off of the ramps that I used. And so what you're going to have to do is turn it to the on position, and mine's already showing oil life right there, but say it's just right there. You just go until you see your oil life, and then you press and hold the little odometer piece and part that you're going to go through the system with for at least 10 seconds, and you'll see it should start flashing here in a minute. Yep, so it's flashing. Then you just press it down and hold it again for at least 5 seconds, and then it should reset it all the way back to 100. And there it is. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to turn it off, turn it back on just to make sure, and it's at 100% now. So we're good on that. But that is going to conclude this video right here, and you can also reset your oil life with a scanner if you have one. And I just like to go through the system just to make sure that everything is good and that there's no codes on anything. But like I said, this is going to conclude this video right here. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please hit them up in the comment section below. I get to them as soon as possible. And if you like the video, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And until next time, y'all have a great day.